Hey guys, Obsidian Drakes here. You want to stick around for this one because I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tips and tricks to play Necrons as a Space Marine player. So this is what I encountered during my RTT this month, and this is my game too. So this is going to be the after action battle report to kind of give you some tips and tricks of what I experienced while playing. So I'll go ahead and jump right in. So my list, right? So this is from previous people who watched the previous video. You can go ahead and just skip through this, but I played Gladius, Blood Angels. My characters were the Apothecary Biologist with that Fire Discipline, the Chaplain with Jump Pack. He had Artificer Armor because, well, I had an extra 10 points, so he had a 2-up save and 5-up Feel No Pain. Battle Line for Intercessors to teleport around so they can kind of sticky objectives and then move on. And then my other data sheets, the aggressors, the Boltstorm aggressors, so they can go with the Biologists and jump around or get teleported around, hopefully, and shred some stuff. The Ballistic Dread for anti-tank, I had 2 repulsors for that as well. 2 jump pack, Death Company, pretty decent melee, good at killing elites and things like that. 2 Inceptor squads, so they can kind of come down, steal objectives, maybe blast some characters or get me behind enemy lines and some of those secondaries. Then an Infiltrator squad. The Infiltrators, of course, that Deep Strike Denial, Librarian Dread to teleport. 2 Scout squads for that forward deploy, and then they can actually redeploy if, at the end of the opponent's turn if they're not within, I believe, 6 inches. And then finally some Vanguard vets to kind of throw away, kind of do some skirmishing and kind of maybe trade, do a little trade up and kind of maybe secondaries. And then finally I had the Inquisitorial Henchmen, just a nice little action monkey squad. So as the thumbnail you can see is I fought Necrons for my second game. So the Satan Shar, the Nightbringer. The Nightbringer is very good. He heals, I believe it's 2d3. So if you are going to dedicate any firepower to him, you should dedicate a lot of firepower to go ahead and take him down. 2 different turns. I put some last cannons into him to try and kill him, but I kind of tried to not split fire, but I shot 1 unit into him and then shot my other unit into something else, and I really should have focused him down. So that's something to kind of be aware of. Orican, the Overlord, Technomancer, so they're kind of passing on some buffs to the Immortals and things like that, or not Immortals, Lich Guard. He had 3 Immortals, and then he had the Teslas. He put 2 in Deep Strike reserves, and then he also had 1 on his home objective. And then he had Necron Warriors, a big blob. It was hard to kill. It was near that Reanimator. And then he had 2 Death Marks, so he also started those off the board. And Deep Strike, Locust Destroyers, so they're pretty good at going and mowing some stuff down. I believe their guns are strength 5. The Reanimator to kind of help just bring back more warriors, and then 2 Doomsday Harks, which they have a 4 damage cannon, so they can really take down your armor, and you need to be aware of them. Something definitely to kind of watch out for. All right, so the mission, so we played Mission E, so you can get that from some of the apps that kind of generate that. So it's Taken Hold, Chosen Battlefield, and Sweeping Engagement. So that's that diagonal deployments. So they're pretty big deployments. We did player place terrain. That's that FLG terrain. Both of us chose tactical missions. I was the defender, and the defender in this one actually gets to put down objective markers, the first objective marker. So I go, he goes. So whoever goes first gets to put down 3. So I placed 2 down on the little part of my deployment zone down here, close together, and I put 1 over here, kind of safe out of the way from everything, where I was able to kind of put some infiltrators on there and sticky it with intercessors early game, and just wait until that round 3 until I knew he couldn't come back off the board and get back there. Then I could kind of move up on and come fight. And then he did get first turn. So next slide. All right, a little bit more deployment pictures. So here's put my 1 repulsor on one side with a ballistus, and then repulsor on the other side. Have some infantry back here, and then had my van vets spread out over there. or in the middle right there. And then the right picture on the bottom left, you can see my Librarian Dreadnought hiding in. And then in the middle of the picture, I have my Scout Squads. I put them on top, but I declared my intent that they were on the bottom, so I just put them up there so they're easier to grab. And then I have my 2 Death Company squads right there in that building. To the right, some scouts, my repulsor. This is his deployment, so pretty much everything was pretty much hidden. On this left picture here on the bottom, that's that Lich Guard unit and the Nightbringer, and then a lot of those characters are in there. Doomsday Ark, and then the Reanimator in that middle building, and then right on the line he put those warriors, and then the Doomsday Ark was there as well. And then on this right picture, you can kind of see that's the middle of my deployment zone where my Van Vets, I just had them spread out right there in the middle where I can kind of throw them and maybe attack. And then also right next to that warrior blob, you have those Locust Destroyers. All right, turn 1 Necrons. So Necrons, so of course you don't get any primary. Secondaries, they got on engage on all fronts and overwhelming force. So he was not able to get that, unfortunately, or either one. So but he decided to keep both of them. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys think that that was the right move to do or not. I think that definitely. I mean, getting no points on the first round kind of stinks. But so all he did was he scooted up. He moved the warriors up, the destroyers up, and then he moved the Doomsday Ark to try to shoot one of my repulsors. And then, which he almost killed it. He got it down to 2 wounds. So those things, I was really shocked when he did all that damage and he almost took it out for me. So I got lucky. I believe I played Armor of Contempt, no, I think I already, yeah, I did play Armor of Contempt. So I think it's AB4, and so with cover, I was able to bring it down and make some saves and stuff. And then those Lich Guards stayed. They scooted up in that building, but they stayed in the building. The picture to the right. And then the Nightbringer, he came out and moved out, and so he went into this fire lane that you can see in the middle of the board, and that's where I kind of shot him a couple times. It just, you need to focus fire. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, but I was able to kind of recover from doing that. All right, round 1 to the Obsidian Drake. So of course no primary, and then secure no man's land. So in this, when you mission, you can make those objectives, and what you get to do is they have to be outside your deployment zone. 1 can be inside, and then I was able to drop 3, so 2 of them are right outside. So I already had guys set up on those, so I was able to secure no man's land, but basically not moving at all. And then you can see in the picture here, I moved my repulsor up. So my intent was, so I lived, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to move up but still stay hidden. I wanted to kind of bring out his Doomsday Ark so I could get some shots on it a little bit better, and then maybe kind of set myself up to kind of screen a little bit, because I don't have a lot of reps into Necrons, so I wanted to go ahead, and I needed to fan out, I felt like, because he had 2 things of Immortals and then the 2 Death Marks in reserve, and I didn't want them to come in my backfield and maybe start wreaking some havoc. So I kind of spread out a little bit, and I tried to keep that repulsor hidden. But what I did is I kind of kept the rear end out so that I could make line of sight into the Nightbringer, and I shot all my stuff into him. And then my ballistas, I kind of had him come out, and he was able to kind of shoot some of, I believe, the Locust Destroyers, because you can see on my turn 1, so the Locust Destroyers were right there on the right. You can see in the middle right of the screen, those are Van Vets that are kind of coming around the building. I shot them out to go out there and try and fight out, or to finish off those Locust Destroyers, which they were able to. And then in the building next to the repulsor, I have my aggressors. I was able to teleport them over there. So I never played really against Locust Destroyers, so he read me the profile, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to kill that. So I wasn't able to get my both repulsors and my ballistas on this Doomsday Ark. I think if I was able to, I thought in my head, I was like, okay, I want to kill that Doomsday Ark, but that was actually something I didn't do. So I think if maybe in hindsight, I should try to kill the tanks with my anti-tank, but in this game I just kind of ignored them and I went for some of these other units that I thought would be pretty detrimental to some of my infantry, as they had strength 5 weapons, which they cut me down pretty easily. So yeah, I scored 5 for that no man's land, and then to capture enemy outpost. There was no way I was going to go capture his enemy outpost on turn 1, so I just discarded it and got that CP at the end of my turn. Round 2 Necrons. Okay, so on that middle objective where all those warriors are that you can see right in the middle of the picture, they're my Van Vets. I was able to consolidate into them. They weren't able to do any damage. And then he scooted up with these Lich Guard, and then you'll see he decided to, I believe he advanced them, and he was able to get on this objective here, but he did not roll a high enough advance to get on both of the objectives and spread out. So he kind of just moved out, was able to shoot his Doomsday Arc into, I believe he shot it into my aggressors, but I have 3-up save and cover. I believe I played Armor of Contempt on them as well, because I really did not want him kind of taking that squad out just for the sheer weight of fire they can go out, and then their power fists. So I didn't want to expose them, but I felt, if I'm going to expose them, I could get them in this building and try and keep some alive. I think he popped 2 of them. So I did dedicate a lot of stuff into I felt like into those Locust Destroyers, and then kind of blocked some movement and stuff just to kind of set that up. But yeah, he was able to get 10, so he has this one where his warriors are, and then his home objective he was able to spread out on. And then overwhelming force, he got 3, so he was able to, after moving these Lich Guard out of this building in the bottom left corner, he was able to take the objective by the crates from me, and then he actually just missed engage on all fronts again, but he decided to keep it. So he unfortunately didn't move or have the movement to get there. Round 2 for me. So like I said, he moved those Lich Guard up, and he was able to get on there and take it out, or basically take it over. And then what you see here is I dedicated both of my Death Company squads into this Lich Guard, and so he scored, or I scored 15 points because I had my home objective, and these 2 I still owned. So he was able to go ahead and, or excuse me, overwhelming force from the previous one was he killed a unit off the objective, and I believe I was able to get my Van Vets on there, or he killed my scouts. He killed one of my scout squads. That's how he was able to get that one. But I was able to get primary of 15 on this one, and then I got assassination. I discarded it at the end. Thought, oh, this unit's right in front of me. I'll be able to get some assassination. So that's why I dedicated so much into this squad. And then investigated signals, so I was able to kind of bring some guys down and go ahead and get all the things that I needed to do in the corners. And I was able to get 6 points for that. And then I went, and then I put everything into these Lich Guard guys. And geez, this unit, it's -1 to wound and combat, and then they are -1 to hit, and they're able to regenerate, I believe, in your command phase and their command phase. So I put 11 Inferno pistols into these guys, and I don't think I killed one guy. I think I may have killed one guy or wounded him. And then this is, I believe, actually after the combat. This might be before, but I felt as though I bounced off of this unit and that it was game. I thought, wow, he's gonna pick up all of my Death Company. He's gonna finish off my repulsors with his Doomsday Arcs, and then it's gonna be a wrap. But he slapped me back, and the Death Company with their 6-up Feel No Pain, they were able to survive. Not all, I mean, I did lose some guys, but they were able to kind of stay pretty strong. And then turn 3 for the Necrons. So what they did was so of course again they had their home objective in this middle objective in the middle with a buttload of warriors there. They got engaged on the fronts, and he finally scored that, and then secure no man's land. So he was able to go ahead and take that no man's land objective. And you can't see it now, but yeah, the Lich Guard did, and this in the previous slide, had moved up, and they're over by this crate fighting my guys. So he just started slowly spreading out on his home objective. He made sure to spread out to not allow my Inceptors to come down and take it from him. He knew that, so but by him doing that, I was able to put them in other places. So he had to dedicate. He put his Doomsday Arc on there, and he had Immortals. So if you play an opponent who knows what Inceptors can do, they're definitely going to spread out on the objectives. So you're going to want to go ahead and have a separate plan for them. Know that they have a different use. So yeah, he just slowly moved up a little bit more and was able to just kind of put some shots into people. My turn 3. So my turn 3. So he did go ahead and move on up. So he had brought his Immortals in and everything, and then I had brought in. This isn't exactly a picture of turn 3, but it's essentially as close. You can see my Scepters in his deployment zone. This was the turn after that, so things started kind of going fast, and I didn't take too many pictures. But I brought my Inceptors down into the building there, and then on this turn I had to go ahead and brought them out for that behind enemy lines. I wasn't able to get my Repulsor wholly within, so I did only get the 3 points there. And then cleanse, I was able to only cleanse the objective in the bottom corner. I was able to cleanse that because I owned it, but unfortunately at the time, like I believe you start to declare cleanse, I was not able to. I didn't own it because he had all of these Lich Guard and everything in there that had basically helped him had been mopped up by or my death company had been mopped up by his shooting, and so he was able to kind of move in and get on that objective. But in this, what you can see is I had thrown I threw my death company that was alive, 2 scouts, intercessors, and then my librarian dreadnought into this objective just to try and really hold on to it. And I did put my Inceptors down to kind of help blast some guys. His turn 4, so this is the turn 4, so we're still fighting over that middle objective. He was able to get 10 primary, he cleansed for 3, and then he got assassination for 5. So he was able to go ahead and killed my chaplain that was in. So right to the right of this middle objective, that's where that combat was happening with those Lich Guard and Death Company, where I had bounced. So he had killed some of them, and then he was able to basically fall back onto the objective into this, I believe, into this basically position, and then he was able to kind of maneuver the warriors and some of his various other shooting just to go ahead and mop up and destroy a lot of stuff. And it was actually the Nightbringer that also came in, and he's dead now because I had killed him in shooting. But he was able to help mop up those middle forces. And then turn 4, so this I believe is about the end of the game in terms of the pictures. But in turn 4, for me, I got 15 primary. I was able to throw those guys on there and hold on, and as long as I could. I was able to deploy teleport homers with these Inceptors. So this is another picture of those Inceptors. So when I had came down, they were essentially in this building, and then they kind of came out, and I was able to get I was able to get deployed teleport homers by them being here where they are, and then in the building they were able to be just wholly within where I had positioned them. No prisoners. I killed a unit. I believe it was the Lich Guard unit this turn, and then I was able to, and then he kind of moved up a little bit with his stuff, but I was able to hold on. Turn 5 Necrons. So by turn 5, he basically he had lost the Nightbringer, the Lich Guard, and the Locust Destroyers. I'm trying to think. I didn't Necrons with their regenerating and things like that. They're very hard to shift their units. They are extremely tanky and hard to kill. You got to focus down their stuff. But he was able to get no prisoners. So yeah, he was able to kind of finish off some of those squads with his shooting, and he did not get behind enemy lines. So once he had came in with those death marks and stuff, he wasn't going anywhere. He was basically stuck in his deployment zone with them because I had enough guys to kind of screen him out, and I had infiltrators in the back. So there wasn't really anywhere he was able to go back there. There was nothing really back there for him to really do. And then turn 5. So again, it's just this repeat of that picture, but by then I was able to get 15. I defended my stronghold, and I was not able to get to bring it down. So I was able to almost kill some of these Doomsday Arcs. But by turn 5, this Repulsor was dead. The Inceptors here were dead. So I was really running out of a lot of my units, but I was able to put some guys into some of the key positions that I needed them to be in. So I think my henchmen are on my home objective. My infiltrators had moved up after his guys came onto the board. And what I did is I was able to really clog up that one objective that we just continuously fought over for the whole game, because I never really went into the warriors until the end of the game just to kind of block them. I charged them with my intercessors, and then also my dreadnought, and then my infiltrators, and I blocked them out from being able to get onto that objective, so they wouldn't be able to OC me. Because I know if I didn't move block them or charge and not allow them to do that, they probably could have charged on and took it from me, and then been able to kind of get that score up. And then so the end of the game, I was able to pull it out. So it was an 87-73 victory for me. My Inceptors were useful yet again. I wasn't able to steal objectives this time, but what I was able to do is now, since my opponent was smart enough to not allow me to take those objectives, okay, well, they're still effective at other things. So I kind of put them in to come down and investigate those signals for me. Just within those 9, leave the 9 of that, and then get me behind enemy lines. And then I was able to use them to go ahead and deploy some teleport homers. And then on the objective by the crates that we continued to fight over and over again, I brought those guys down to help me go ahead and have some more OC on there and just shoot some guys off, which was very effective for me. Librarian Dreadnought, he teleported by aggressors from one end of the map to the other end of the map with his move, the 12 inches of the teleport, and then the little move of the guys, the aggressors. I was able to get them pretty much. They went the span of the board, which was amazing to get their firepower into the Lich Guard and to kind of help bring them down. And I believe that, and just kind of also get. They didn't charge anything, I don't believe, that game. I think it might have charged into the Lich Guard a little bit, or they might have just kind of held on because I think I failed to charge. And then the aggressors, yeah, they peppered people up. And then even after I lost a couple guys, I mean, usually you lose a couple guys in a squad, and it's kind of like, okay, well, this thing's not really effective anymore. But they still were. They still put out shots, and they were a melee threat. What I learned about Necrons, man, is you need to focus down units, and you need to dedicate either the equal amount of points into them or maybe even more. Lich Guard they're insanely tanky with the -1 to wound, the regenerating and multiple command phases, the -1 hit. When I bounced with my Death Company, if I hadn't made the saves, and then also with my Feel No Pain, it probably would have been a different game. But I was able to really dedicate enough firepower and continue to fight on that objective and keep throwing things into them to where I was able to kind of beat them out and win that win that war of attrition, which is pretty interesting against Lich Guard. but it was either Lich Guard or 20-man block of warriors, which I think with I would have had an easier time killing the warriors, but because they don't have any vulnerable save and things like that. And then Doomsday Arcs. Watch out for Doomsday Arcs. You want to hide everything. With my deployment, the way that I deployed everything, I actually wasn't able to hide everything the way I set up my building. So I learned that the hard way of almost losing my repulsor. He went down to 2 wounds, and he's -1 to hit the whole rest of the game. So you really want to try to watch out where you're putting these player place terrains, and then also watch out for those anti-tank guns, especially Doomsday Arcs. And then another thing that I learned is really watch out for the Nightbringer, and you got to focus him down as well. I think it's a big thing with the Necron units is you can't just split fire and do this and do a little bit of that. So you really have to dedicate it, and I think that really showed in the first turn when I targeted down those Locust Destroyers. I took them out, and by taking that unit out and then kind of working on just getting those secondary points and holding on to what I can and keeping him off of those 2 objectives that were near his deployment zone really kind of brought it out for me. And another thing I learned is, I'm going to go ahead and take more pictures. I think of after every move phase and fight phase. And I think that's probably the best thing to do, and just continue to keep learning and enjoying making videos like this. So if you stuck around to the end of the video, I appreciate it. The watch time helps, and if you can like, comment, and subscribe. I know people always ask that stuff, but it really does actually help, and kind of is a nice indicator of like, hey, keep doing this, or anything like that. And if you leave a comment, I welcome constructive criticism to make the videos better, and let me know if this is useful for you or anything like that, because I know talking this stuff out and going back over games and realizing like, hey, this unit is something you need to look out for or maybe target down. I hope that can kind of be useful for you guys. So all right, well, thanks for watching, and take care. Bye.